What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Player One versus the World. Yeah, another video. That's why I tell you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, because obviously Lost Records, Bloom and Rage is all the rage at the minute. That's a horrible intro, I know. But yeah, I'm very excited for this game, and I want to talk about it more. And it's specifically a section that we spoke about in my reaction video. I think there's a lot more to kind of go into that, which I learned with the post production of it. But anyway, before that as well, if you are new here, please do consider dropping a subscribe on the channel, turn on notifications, like the video, and share with your friends. Helps you support the channel, helps keep up to date with the channel. Very small channel, doesn't appear a lot in front of other people, and when people come here, it's quite nice for them to be pleasantly surprised by the content I produce. And I thought we would do a bit more Lost Records, I'm still trying to get the name right. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage content here, because obviously, the reaction video was great, and it was really nice to get everyone's responses on there. I don't think I've seen that many comments on the video for a long time on the YouTube channel. So obviously, thank you so much to everyone who did that. It was really nice to interact with you. I always say that I respond to people, and it's nice to see some new faces as well. So I really enjoy seeing that, and it's great. And obviously, if you are new here, I run this channel. I've created it 3 years ago. If you can see, I like Life is Strange a lot. I do a lot of podcasts. I do a podcast called StrangeCast with my co-host Adam Evolt, which will have its next episode, which will be episode 60, that drops next Wednesday, I believe. I'm recording Wednesday, the 13th December. Hopefully this comes out on the 15th December, and then obviously the week after, StrangeCast comes out in its usual slot, and that'll be the last episode of 2023. It's pre-recorded, so there'll be no Lost Records conversation. We do predictions about Lost Records, but we were recording in advance in late November, because we were just Adam's taking a break for a little bit, so we decided that. And obviously Lost Records will be a big part of our conversation going into the first episode of 2024, so don't worry about that. But it's an exciting episode nonetheless. It was big productions episode we did, so do stay tuned for that. And obviously, as I said, host podcasts on here, podcast called Life After Strange, with a lot of the Life is Strange actors, and there's a lot of other Life is Strange content. There's a lot of content on this channel, and with Lost Records being announced, I hopefully, we'll see a lot more content coming to this channel. I'm hopefully going to make as many of these kind of videos as I possibly can going into 2024 and beyond, because people seem to enjoy them. It keeps the channel going. I got comments from people saying that they use this to kind of keep up to date with things, and I've got that with a lot of the developer replies that we showed in the video. So, I'm really happy about that, and just generally speaking, the feedback I got as well, which was really good, and it was just interacting with a lot of you, was really nice as well. So thank you for that. But anyway, we'll talk about this. There's a lot of things I want to talk about. Obviously, the theory about like the hole in the game, in the trailer that we saw that they're all looking at, the color purple, the void. There's so many things we'll talk about. But one of the ones I talked about in the last video that I did, the reaction one, we'll kind of talk about a bit more, because there's a lot of there's a lot to be said there, and I don't think anyone else has really done it the way that I did it that way. And I kind of learned a lot of things, and I do kind of apologize to Don't Nod Montreal, because it seems like the actors have changed their Instagram captions, which I'm really sorry about as well. I think we'll come on to that in a minute, but for context, if you haven't watched that video, and I recommend you should as well, because it helps support the channel, I tried to work out the identity of the characters. So far we have had the synopsis for the game revealed. We've had a reveal trailer. They've told us who the characters are. However, they haven't told us which character is which. So that's kind of a big thing, because at this point, it's like, if it wasn't as important, you would just tell everyone. But for them, they're probably going to do like promotional material. They're probably going to do like a lot of content coverage around themselves, about building this game and promoting things. Obviously, as I said, it's a Wednesday I'm recording, and I've just come off of watching a video of Luke and Michel, talking about the game and the excitement for it. And Michel, you didn't look tired. You didn't look anything like you look great, by the way. And the French accent, please do not tame it. Love the French accent. And Luke, you look great as well. Just to add that. But anyway, like I kind of did the entire section in the last video, or the reaction video, where we talk about the characters, and I took a stab at it. And there's also a future me also put a nice little snippet in recording on my iPhone, because Michel said that I was wrong on some of them. So I kind of wanted to go back to that. So I'll kind of put the image here, and I'll try not to move into it too much. But I took an attempt at guessing the characters. And as I said, there's not much information, but however, I did kind of use the actors' information that they gave us. And someone in the comments on the last video said that, where did you see that? And it's like, did she post, Andrea Carr post that on Instagram? and maybe she's edited her Instagram post. So I went back and looked at Andrea Carter's post, and yes, it has been edited, and so has the other actors. And I apologize to all the other actors because I don't want you to get in trouble, and I hope that hasn't blown my chances of ever getting you on this channel, because the dream is to get the actors on here one day and speak about this game. And apologies to Montreal as well. I spent about 20 minutes, truthfully, like thinking, like writing 4 paragraphs and sending them to one of the developers, being like, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't ruin the reveal, I hope I didn't give away too much. But also as well, I think because it's in the public domain, if I hadn't spotted it, someone else would have done. And unfortunately, I spotted it because I'm a very nosy person, as you'll probably know as well. Like, I'm a journalist by background. If you ever like look up my background, especially the social media background I have, it's I do a lot of my research via social media and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of like went straight for it and got it before anyone else. So that's why I knew. So yeah, like all their captions have been changed, so you won't be able to see what it said before. I don't know if you can check on Instagram. I didn't check it myself, but it's all been changed. And yeah, so it's kind of, I think that they weren't. I don't know if it was just like, because, for example, let me just kind of explain this. When usually actors reveal something, and more so from like Life is Strange, they'll like maybe they'll maybe make a post with the trailer, and they'll put the character that they show. And with them, they all posted the trailer for this, like, the reveal trailer we saw at the Game Awards. And they didn't include like the character, the picture. It was just like, I am this character, I'm excited for XYZ ABC. And then that has all changed since then. So I think like maybe it gave away too much. And maybe we saw a lot I saw a lot that I was not meant to see in terms of knowing which character is which. Because, as I said, we went on Player One versus the World. I'll put the tweet back up here so you can see it. I took a stab guess with it and with the actors that I'd seen what they'd posted. So we know the characters. 4 characters are called Nora, Swann, Cat, Autumn. I went and did my attempt, which was, and we're going from left to right on my side on the characters. I had Nora on the left, Swann next to Nora, Cat next to Swann, and Autumn next to Cat. That's my assumption before I try and address this again. That was my guesswork. And then underneath it as well, there was a tweet post which had the actors' mocap and also their names on each person. And I got 3 of them verified. I knew 3 of them. The other person, Amelia, her Instagram was private, so I couldn't work out. But also, it would make sense that Amelia is Nora because, yeah. Sorry, picking back up, completely lost trail for thought there. But yeah, so we saw those 4 characters, and I assigned them the way that I think that was it, and also the mocap actors as well. I kind of showed you an image on Twitter, which you should follow Player One versus World on Twitter if you're on that, or X as it's called nowadays. We're on all social media platforms, so do follow us. We'll keep you up to date with a lot of things, especially with this game as well, and Life is Strange content, everything. So do stay tuned on all our social media platforms. But yeah, I did the image and I labeled each actor with to tell you who they are, and then also the characters they're playing, and I think it would make sense from my math work. And I was like, I think when I did the final draft and the one that you see on the screen, that was my like, okay, I'm going to take a stab in the dark at this, and I might be right, I might be completely wrong. And the 2 characters which I'm going to change around in a minute, which you'll see, that's what my original theory was, but I changed around. Either way, the reason why I say that, because Michel Koch, we call him Koch because it's just short. That's what it's just me and an Adam thing, what we do. But Michel, the studio creative director at Don't Nod Montreal, the director of Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, put a response out. What response out? And obviously, you'll know Michel if you listen to StrangeCast. You'll know him from Life is Strange 1 and 2. We talk about Michel a lot. But Michel did respond, and he put, I can say that you got some things right and some wrong, with a smiley face and a little detective person. That's my MO, the detective person, because I'm very bad at predicting, as as many people know things. But that was his tweet. And that made me go back to the drawing board, because I wanted to go back to the drawing board on the characters that, in the order that I think personally. So we'll keep the image up, hopefully. My future self's kept it up in the editing process. And what I think is that Autumn and Nora are the characters in the way that they are. I'm going to keep them as they are. So Autumn is Andrea Carter's character, or Andrea Carter said that is their character. again, they might have put Instagram captions out with their posts. They might have just, they might, it might be wrong. There's no definitive proof. Like, even if they said it, they might like change these characters around. Who knows? There's no guarantee, but I assume it is because they're probably told about this in behind the scenes when they're working on the game. Yeah. So Andrea Carter is Autumn, and I'm going to keep Autumn the same. Nora is going to be kept the same as well. I think that is Nora. If you watch the trailer, a lot of people have theorized on this. Nora does sing into the mic. You know, there's that entire opening scene where they have the band. Nora speaks into the mic, and Nora, I would assume, is a reference to the Nora Kelly band, which the Nora Kelly band seems to be the composer on the game. No, I need to recheck that anyway. There's a couple of articles, but I'm pretty sure the Nora Kelly band is, you know, doing the soundtrack for this game. They do the music in the trailer. I don't know what the music actually is in the trailer. I don't think it's actually been released yet. I tried to filter through because obviously I want to put it into my Apple library, and I hope that they release that soon on Spotify and Apple Music, etc. Because, you know, I think we all listen to that as much as possible. Now, here's the other two characters. So we have Swann and we have Kat. So Swann and Kat are the other two characters that I got in there. So I said that Swann was Olivia Lepore, and I said that Kat is Natalie Leconte. So that's an interesting shout that I had, and those are the two that I was originally conflicted with before I even put the post out. So why I thought the way that I did, I put Swann as the character next to Nora in my original post. Again, I'm trying to keep it as clear as possible. I put Swann there because I assume that Olivia Lepore looked a lot like Swann. However, one thing I also realized was I did this a lot during the Life After Strange interviews before, kind of like Webb gave me a lot more perspective. This game has been in development for 3 years, if not even longer. And they probably had the designs of the characters created a long time ago. They probably created it a long time ago. The actor looking like the character is just pure coincidence. We had that with Dylan Winfrey. Dylan Winfrey does look like Mikey North a little bit in Before Storm. Pure coincidence. They already have the actor cast. Like, if it shows parallels, it means that it's just not this case. Because if we go back to the mocap image, we know Philip Barker is working on this project with Michel and Luke and the Don't Nod Montreal team. Philip Barker is a legendary like VO director on the Life is Strange alone and Life is Strange series alone, and also in many other credited works. And if you ever watch Life After Strange, every single video has a question about Philip Barker, and all you ever hear from the actors is great things about Philip Barker. He's like instrumental. All as much as you love the great voice acting performances, everything is also credited down to Philip Barker for bringing out great performances. Now, he's working on it. He has a background in other things. He doesn't just do VO directing. So it makes sense for him to be there. We know that they were going to do mocap. There was an image from a while back. We used it in one of the StrangeCast episodes. We had Luke, Michel, the other Don't Nod Montreal developers. I think Marsha was in the photo. Was Marion in it? Or Kathy? Someone else? There were more people in the photo. And in that photo, but we knew that they were in a mocap studio. There's also been an image that Michel teased once where he, I think it was like a VO booth, if anything, and in the mocap one as well, they don't have dots in their faces. It might be before they put the dots on. I don't know. It might be that they're just doing performance. They might just be doing body mocap. You know, there's no guarantees that it has to be performance direction because that's what Deck Nine's done with the Life is Strange series and The Expanse and their more recent games. It could just be straight up mocap again. It might not even be facial capture. It might just be straight mocap. We're going to go that direction with it, and they might have been able to improve like the lip syncing, for example, with Life is Strange 1 and 2. So there's no guarantee on that yet. Maybe we'll find out down the line. I would be quite interested to see what direction they went with that, and then they obviously might have got the actors in for the voice recording lines. Who knows? But either way, that was my kind of like theory with it. I thought that maybe because Olivia Lepore looked like Swann, or the character I assume is Swann, that's why I assigned Olivia to that character. However, it's not the case, and I had like a more time reflection. Now, if you're wondering what my actual prediction is, it's to swap the two characters around. So Kat is next to Nora in this, and Swann is next to Autumn. That's what I think the characters actually are. So, and we'll talk about what I think about the characters and, you know, who's the most important and if we'll play as all four, etc. But that's what I think. So my final order is Autumn on the right, Nora on the far left, Kat next to Nora, and Swann next to Autumn. That's what I think the actual order is. I think, and based on obviously what I know so far in terms of the actors and who they're playing, that would potentially make sense as well. I think and then more so I'll kind of explain that maybe later on, actually, if I still remember by the time we get to that part of the recording. That's my order, I think, if anything. I think that's the best way to approach this. And I think that was probably kind of the giveaway, if anything, that I had, where it was like, actually, I know the actors and what characters they're playing, and obviously it's since been changed. And again, apologies to Don't Nod Montreal. I hope that that wasn't too much of a spoilery moment. But I will go to one more thing because I want to give you another view of something. So let me go here, and my internet is not loading. So apologies. This is all running in real time. So I wanted to talk to you. And how are you all? If you're all good, you know, it's nice to talk to you all. Anyway, okay, I managed to find it. Yeah, bit of a scramble fest there. So we're going to go to Twitter here, or X. I'm going to call it Twitter. I'm going to call it Twitter. It'll always be Twitter in my mind. I'm going to go to Twitter. I'm going to go to Lost Records fans. I spoke about this previously in the reaction video. This is set up by Chris Anderson, who set up Life is Strange fans. A man that I owe many, many coffees to for supporting this content and will always support. And I'll put links to all of Lost Records fans' links in the comments so you can go and follow them, because it's nice to keep up to date with the community. And obviously, Chris did incredible work with Life is Strange. I remember Chris from, like, you know, when I was back in the industry, retweeting my articles from when I was working there and doing interviews. So do go and check it out. Check out all the stuff he's doing there. He's doing great work with that. But I wanted to bring up something with what he put out, because he did a little poll. So this was from people who followed the page or who've like seen the tweets that he did. He kind of like did an entire like which character's which, and then tallied up the votes that he got. So the tweet, he said, he put, the votes are in. Here are the guesses for which girl, which we'll come on to a little bit, because I don't think they're necessarily all girls. So that's an interesting theory I have, but we'll come on to that in a minute. In which is which in Lost Records based on votes. Did we get them right? We'll have to wait and see. So according to the people who voted in this poll for Lost Records fans, they put Nora, which is the one that I got, so I agree with that. They put Swann next to Nora, which I believe was that my initial one? Oh god, I've lost the image again. Sorry. Car crash this. I don't know why you come to this channel. Let me get this back open. There we go. There we go. Perfect. We are back open. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. Anyway, so we have Nora, Swann, Autumn, and Cat. That's the order that they have. So they have Nora, Swann, Autumn, and Cat. That's an interesting order. And then obviously, you know, Chris had a great opportunity here to tag at Don't Know Michel. How did we do? And Michel responded with, well, a GIF. So interesting nonetheless. They could be very much right on that. They could have gotten a better attempt on it than me. We'll have to wait and see who's actually right and who's got wrong and everything else. So again, let me just quickly compare these, and apologies. I should really, if you wonder why I don't script them, it means that we'll never see these videos otherwise. So I thought I would just, do it myself. Right. So just to compare, I had Nora, they had Nora in their poll. I had initially had Swann in that original image. They also had Swann. And then they had Cat and Autumn the other way around. So that's interesting. And again, because I know that Andrea Carter had written Autumn as her character on Instagram, I think that's why I flip it around, because people have theories of like, this character looks like this because of that, and you know, XYZ ABC. And I think like that would give them more thing. But because I've taken like that liberty to figure out which actor is which and, you know, what they're doing, I think it gives me that. So again, my kind of final attempt is going to be it's Autumn on the right, Nora on the left, Cat next to Nora, and Swann is next to Autumn. I think that's it. So yeah, all quite interesting. And sorry for just like rambling as well, but you know, we've got a lot to talk about. And I'm going to say one more thing as well here, because I got a nice comment on the YouTube video just before we came on here to record this one. This is on the other reaction video. And this was from Life is 2D, who I've seen on Twitter. And I can't wait for your Game Boy emulator for the Life is Strange game. Go and follow Life is 2D as well on Twitter. It is at Life is 2D. They're adapting a Life is Strange game for Game Boy and web, which, yeah, amazing. But they put, here we go. Based on a 10-year theory, the Xbox article, they were listed as Swann, Nora, Autumn, and Cat by Luke. The header image presumably being related. The header image presumably being related, or at least familiar order to him. In the just published little video, Michel also lists them in that order and is fond of the key art, which again shows the characters in that left that same left to right. So it seems at least they are used to seeing them in that order, or it's all evil trickery to keep us guessing and making up our own flimsy possibilities. I'll respond to you at some point as well, hopefully before the video comes out. Very interesting theory. And by the way, that's why I'm giving credit to Life is 2D, because I'm not going to say, oh, well, I thought this great theory up. Interesting theory. Very interesting theory. And I could see it completely being plausible as well. And as you said about stuff with Michel, saying insert that order, same with Luke, and it's being presented in the way that it is in the articles. I think that's probably just to throw people, maybe. I think personally it's to throw people. And again, I think it comes down to the fact that with the actors revealing identities, I think it's like ruling out some of the characters in a certain order. So yeah, that's interesting. And I know also as well, just one more thing as well, Life is 2D. I think like if it was that order and it was actually that order, I think they would have probably just told us the characters at that point. I think that the fact that they're hiding the characters is more important than we think, and I think that might be down to just for them to do promotional material. It's not. I don't expect them not to tell us which characters which by the time we get to the game. That would be quite, crazy. That would generally be like crazy if we got to that point. But yeah, interesting theory. I like it, and thank you for sharing that as well. And yeah, so yeah, and this is the other part. And sorry, I was just getting to this point as well. I don't think that they're all girls per se. That's my other bit of a wild theory, if anything. And I think maybe people are kind of going to be like a little bit like, "What do you mean they're not all girls?" So I'd spoken to Adam on StrangeCast. Obviously, again, we spoke about this for 3 years. We covered so many different grounds. I did say to him, "Do you think we will see a trans character in the game?" I think, or a trans lead, for example. Sorry, I think you probably will see a trans character in the game. I don't think there's necessarily any of the lead characters now in the present day, if anything. But there's something where I saw with the material, like when they gave us the description, it says 4 high schoolers. It doesn't say 4 girls. It doesn't say anything along those. I don't think I've seen anything that refers to them as girls specifically. I could be wrong. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I don't think I've seen anything that sees them refers to them as girls. I don't think the article Luke put out there says girls. I think he might have said high schoolers again. I don't think they're all girls necessarily, or there might be girls in that present moment. However, I do think that one of the characters is non-binary. That's my belief on it, and this is just an assumption. I can't verify this. I tried to have a look at it. One of the actors, Natalie LeConte, on their Instagram, they have they and them pronouns. Now, and apologies, I'm not completely like, I don't know if using they and them pronouns makes you if it just makes you non-binary, or if you can identify in a certain sex. I'm not too sure of that. So if anyone does know that, please let me know in the comments. It'll be at least a lesson for me to kind of understand that. But Natalie LeConte using they and them pronouns, I assume that they have Natalie in a role to play a certain character, potentially a non-binary character. That doesn't mean that Natalie can't play a female character. I just think Natalie's position and as an actor, as someone who uses they and them pronouns, I think that they would be brought in to play a non-binary character. Because look at Tell Me Why, for example. That was done by the French team in Paris, one of the teams there. They'd worked with Glad on that. They had a trans lead character in there, and August Aiden Black played Tyler. Is it Tyler? I think it's Tyler. He's trans, and that was an important part of it. They didn't just go and hire someone else, to play this trans character. They hired someone who has that experience of transitioning. So for me as well, like, and because of how Don't Nod structured their team, their culture, etc., I think that they would hire someone if they're going to introduce a non-binary character. They would make sure that they are also non-binary to make it more closer, and maybe give an opportunity to someone who is non-binary. I don't think industries are very hard for like people to play certain roles. That's my assumption. So that's one of my theories that I spent like the last couple of days thinking about, like, and even like the weeks as well, thinking that potentially it's not all 4 girls. I think it could start with 4 girls, and it could be, because obviously it's a big time jump. Remember, it's 27 years. Someone could transition. Someone might transition. Someone might change their identity. They might become who they want to be. I'm trying to like again, apologies, I'm still like learning like a lot, but like the way people, how they identify, and and it's an experience I'll never experience, but it's important to kind of understand like from their perspective, if anything. But I think that they will potentially have one of these characters as non-binary, and I think that's my belief at the minute. I could be very much wrong, by the way, and I have a good record for that as well if you've ever watched this. But yeah, I think they are non-binary, and if you just wonder, I'm just trying to find that tweet, and I don't know why I keep knocking myself off it. Um, Why is it taking me so long to find this tweet? It's like constantly just like floating past me. Anyway, yeah. So they are, Natalie is non-binary, and not non-binary. Natalie uses they and them pronouns. Natalie plays Cat, and as I said, if we move Cat next to who I thought was Swann, or put him next to Nora's character, it's weird to explain it. But do you know when you don't have the characters' names? It's so weird to explain it. If I swap them around in my original image from Cat Swann, okay, that'd be quite interesting, because then we could see, what happens with that character, whether how they identify, how they're portrayed. But anyway, stop rambling. I think that one of the characters is non-binary. I'm kind of convinced on that. I don't think they use the high schooler terminology without like kind of referring to one of the characters. I don't think they're all female, personally speaking. I think maybe one of them is non-binary. I could be wrong, but I can't really tell you as well. Like off the top of my head, and before I even came on recording, I don't really remember any characters being non-binary in the last couple of years in the industry, like in games as well. I know you can create custom characters, but I mean, like, do you like stand out non-binary characters? We have trans, the big one, obviously, the Tell Me Why, when you go to a trans lead character, but it's not necessarily tried with that. It's not non-binary is not necessarily someone who identifies non-binary isn't a character I've really seen that much in the video game industry or in the main lead character. And it wouldn't surprise me. Don't Know has a reputation for, you know, in terms of like challenging the status quo, in terms of creating inclusive games and creating all this, it wouldn't surprise me if they did do that, and it would be quite interesting to see how it works off. So that's one of my theories that I have. And then just in general as well, like, there's so many things. Even the image that we had, the teaser one, you have that purple, that little glow factor that's coming up. We'll talk about this in other episodes. I want to talk about the Nora Kelly band and reserve it, because otherwise these videos will go on for too long. But the other theory I had was that, how do we position these characters? Who do you play as? Are there any powers in the game? All interesting nonetheless. I don't know if you'll play as all four characters. That'd be quite interesting if you play as all four. I don't know if you will. My early theory at the minute, and again, going back to the image, let's say Autumn is the character on the far right, and I'm now referring to the character next to Autumn, which is Swann, the girl with the ginger hair, or I'm assuming it's a girl. The ginger-haired character. I think that's your main character. And maybe it's because of too much of the Max vibes, obviously, but I think the trailer that we saw, the teaser trailer, positioned the camera a lot on her, or a lot on this character, if anything. There was that kind of close up with I'm gonna call this character Swann for the time being. You saw Swann's eye with a close up. You saw with a camcorder. I think that there's this kind of like idea that it's going to be, this character's going to be very shy at first, and I think that Swann is going to blossom. It's going to blossom like a swan when they get older, because even with it Part 2, and I haven't seen it for a while, there's that kind of like massive jump in time between characters, but then you also see the personalities change, because like these young characters in the first It are defined by their personalities. Some might be shy, some might be a bit more abrasive, some might be more, strong-willed, etc. However, in It too, the characters are different. They're a lot older. They have a different identity. They have a different thing. And with this character, Swann, who I'm calling Swann again, reminds me of Max a lot. And remember, with Max's story in The First Life is Strange, Max's story is a coming-of-age story. Like, Max Caulfield, by the time you get to episode 5, is a very different character from the Max that you saw. They very much hit that nail on the head with Don't Nod. It was like, it's a coming-of-age story of Max Caulfield. I did an interview with Hannah Tell where, like, before episode 5 came out, and I said to her, it's one of my favorite questions I've asked her, which was like, if you could sum up episode 5 in, like, one word, what would it be? And she's like, it's transformation. It's a moment where we see Max enter her own kind of right. I'm paraphrasing, doing it terrible, but she's like, it was really beautiful, like, way that she put it, in terms of like, it's this evolution of the character that you finally see. Max becomes her own person. it's all part of that kind of like, mentality of chrysalis to beautiful butterfly. That's what the representation is. And I think like this is what's going to happen with Swann. I think Swann is going to play a big role in this. I think Swann is going to become quite an important character when you get to the older stage of like these characters, or how the story plays out in terms of how it jumps around. I think Swann is going to be a very important character. I think just the way that camera was positioned on her and she was moving around, I think that would be but it would be interesting to see how the other characters play out. And by the way, I don't know if they'll do 4 characters in Control. Because let's take Luke and Michel's other games, Life is Strange 1 and 2 mainly, if anything. You had dual characters there, but you always played as one. And I think, if anything, as well, I'm glad that you never swapped to Chloe Price. I'm glad that you never swapped to Sean Diaz, because I think the fact that you play as one character helps the game flow a lot better. And I say this as well because one of the games I played last year, finally got around to playing, was Final Fantasy 15. Now, obviously, very divided the opinion on that. I'm very divided on it a little bit, and it went through development hell, that game. We finally got it, but one of the things that carried that game so much was the dynamic between the 4 characters. And Noctis and his brethren. I loved that game for that story. Like, they really nailed it. And you play as his cohort in the DLCs, but you mainly play as Noctis in the game. He carries the story. It's his story. You follow it. And I think that handled it well. If you would swap between the characters in like Final Fantasy 15, for example, I think you would have caused more havoc on the story than was already caused. I think that the story has both its highs and lows, but it's carried by the fact that you are playing as Noctis throughout the game, and you have these characters who are supporting him. And I think that would probably be a wise decision with this game, where you have one central character. They are the story, and like these other characters are all your supporting characters in between it. It's like, for example, if we went for like True Colors and you swap from Alex Chen to Steph to Ryan, it would just be a little bit like I don't like doing that. I don't really like. I think you take away from the experience of like the singular lead character, focus on their story, and kind of like tell all these great other stories with the other cohorts between them. That's what I think. So I think the ginger haired person in the photo is our main character, personally speaking. I don't know if you'll play as all 4. I personally think you're going to play as one. I think you're going to play as one. The story will be told through the videotapes, and also as well, again, videotapes. That person is recording everything. I feel like that's a bit more kind of like first person-y. It's almost like on the nose. It's like if they're recording everything, I feel like you have to see it through their optics. And I don't know. I just they pick up the camcorder in the trailer. They have the camcorder. Again, it just seems to make sense. So for me, I think they are the character you'll play as. And obviously the big question is there any powers in the game? And I don't know, actually. I wonder if there are any powers in the game. It's been the MO for Don't Nod for, both Life is Strange 1 and 2, and then you're setting up a Lost Records universe. We know it's a universe, if anything. So it will be quite interesting to see if that is it. I don't know. I don't know if I want to make a prediction right now if it is powers or not. Let me have a think about that. We'll deal with that in a StrangeCast episode, but I think it's interesting to see. I would be quite interested if it's not powers. I'd be interested if they do really follow this Stephen King vibe of like, Stand By Me meets It Part 2 meets this and that. No character technically has powers. It'd be quite interesting if a character did inherit powers by the end of the game. Interesting. By the way, with Theorizing, I could be wrong on everything here. As I said to you, we don't know much about the game, but besides, the brief synopsis, the trailer, and everything else. And there's loads of little pieces in the trailer. If you want me to do a trailer breakdown, I might do that as well. I know people have done that, and so far, I've noticed some interesting things that have been spotted in there. But yeah, I'm excited nonetheless. As I said, so there's no video that you get on the channel, which is already a Lost Records Blue and Rage video, and I've got a playlist set up as well, so do follow that as well. As I said, there'll be a lot of content coming to the channel for this. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. I don't want to ramble on for too long, and apologies for like a little bit of the hit and miss as well. It's been, again, I had a long week last week in terms of like hospital visits. Again, today I went to hospital, getting myself back off my feet, getting things done. So do bear with me on that. But anyway, thank you for everyone who commented on the last video. It was great to see as many reactions. Nice to see some people I've never interacted with as well. And also just get your kind of opinion as well. It's just nice to see people excited for the game. I think there's a big vibe and big excitement for it. And I'm obviously going to cover the hell out of this game. There's so much to talk about with this game, and we've only scratched the surface so far. This was an example of it. Like, we've got the Nora Kelly band to talk about. We've got the theories about the hole, what's in the hole. and there's going to be a big detailed conversation with Adam that will come in 2024 when we get back on the channel. But as I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which characters you think are which. Like, I could be completely wrong, and even for the actors, they might have put the wrong character, or they might put any kind of captions. The way that I saw the captions, and I wish I would have screenshot them now as well, the captions that I saw were very specific. It's almost like they knew which characters they are. And in all honesty as well, if you're working on the game, you'll know which character you are. They'll have shown them. We had this with Life After Strange. If you talk to any of the actors and go through all the interviews, they always said like they were kind of told who they were playing. They were told the name, and then even they were shown like some even early, artwork or anything else that was in between it, so they'll know who they're playing. And obviously they've done lines and stuff, so like it just makes sense with that. But yeah, I think maybe it was a bit too much digging for me, that, and again, do apologize to Don't Nod Montreal. I'm really sorry if I did kind of like drop that too early. But either way, let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know your 5 character orders, because again, like last video, we covered so many topics, we didn't really cover this one. But let me know what you think in the order of it. And whether you think that I'm right with my current prediction now. I think that's my final punt at it. I can't take any more of a guess without any more material, if anything. But I think I was very close to that, and I think those 2 characters on the end are right, and then I swapped the 2 in the middle. So I think like that is my definitive version that I've had so far. So just one more reminder: it was Autumn on the right. I don't know if I'm putting the image there. Autumn on the right, Nora on the left, on the far left. Cat next to Nora, Swann next to Autumn, and Swann is going to blossom. I love that. Swann is going to blossom in this game. But no, nonetheless, yeah. Let me know your order that you're going to put them in. I'd be quite interested to hear other people's order on this. But either way, we'll wrap it up, because this has went on for much longer than I thought it was going to be. I was going to make a 20-minute video. We're almost at 40 minutes. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel, support the channel, comment the videos as well. It helps you support. Really does help us support this channel. It's a very small channel, and it's good to get visibility out there as well. It just get for some reason it doesn't appear for a lot of people. But anyway, thank you so much for that. I hope you're excited for Lost Bloom. Lost Bloom. Oh my god, I keep saying Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. I will get that right. Trust me. Apologies. I can't. Yeah, Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of content that'll come there. We'll be covering this a lot through 2024. So do watch that playlist. We'll be putting all the videos in there. Either way, take care of yourself. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.